It's another exciting to be looking at 5 ways of communicating with your kids. And I'm going to be picking parts of my upcoming book, Arrows in the Hands of a Mighty Man. So, we're going to be looking at 5 ways of communicating, open communication with your kids. Before then, by way of introduction, my name is Rukere Oko. Parenting is about raising destinies. So it's beyond just raising children. And communication is the lifeblood of any relationship. For any relationship to work, communication is very important. It's not just about exchange of words, it's exchange of the hearts. It's beyond exchange of words. It has to do with exchange of the hearts. It is the words we speak, the tune we use, even our silence. It's part of communication. So even when we are quiet, we are silent, we are actually communicating. So it's an exchange of the heart, the words we speak, the silence we even give, the way we look. It's also a way of communication. However, communication is not enough. As much as communication is good, it is not enough. Words that are not rooted in connection falls into deaf ears. The simple truth is, a child that you are not connected with, you cannot correct that child. So even when you want to communicate, connection is very, very important. Like seed scatters on a rocky ground. So that is how it is when you communicate without connection. So for communication to be effective, then connection needs to be in place. Connection is the bond that ensures that our words are not only heard, but our words are understood and cherished. So you need connection to allow your words to sink. It is connection that will make a child that really is angry and wants to do certain things not to do it. The Bible says God chastises those he loves. So it is on the basis of love God chastises us even when he wants to discipline us. And that's why he will still draw us close back to himself. And that's what connection is all about. So connection is the glue that holds parent-child relationship together, allowing trust and respect and love to flourish. So when there is good communication and there is good communication and there is a connection, you discover that the relationship will flow. It will naturally flourish. Communication creates emotional and spiritual relationship. So when you have a good communication and connection, you discover that there is a good spiritual relationship, there is a good emotional relationship, and communication will thrive better. You will not struggle with communication when there is connection. So the relationship between communication and connection is like a bow and arrow. You know, we are talking about arrows in the hands of a mighty man. Everything we are talking about is actually related to the bow and arrow. So communication is the tension created when you draw your bow string. You know now when you are drawing the bow. You know, so that is what communication does. Then connection is what strengthens the bow. So communication and connection is like your bow and your arrow. So we must be able to strike a balance with our love and clear understanding. So for communication to work effectively, there must be a balance between connection and communication. Remember we said communication is like speaking to a deaf. your words will only fall on the floor when there is no connection. And you cannot correct a child without connection. So we are going to be looking at 5 ways to build trust and open communication with our children. 5 ways we can build trust and open communication with our children. Number 1 way to build trust and open communication is build trust through open communication. Building trust through open communication. Many of us don't know how to communicate. In fact, talking is not communication. Effective communication has to do with connection. In fact, when you're communicating, you shouldn't be scrolling your phone. It's wrong. It's wrong. Your eyeballs should be together. You know, one of the biggest challenge a lot of home has is the parents don't even have a content for communication. So it's like there is nothing to discuss, you know. When you meet with a friend that is like, you don't even know what to talk about. That's how it is. So for you to even have an open communication, you need to prepare content. You need to be strategic. Create avenues where communications can come in. For example, I just love football. It might not be your thing, but for effective communication, it would be advisable that you go and learn things about his interests. Learn the things you can learn about football, so that you can just come out and tell him, do you know that this happens to Messi? And I'm like, especially if maybe the child was in the boarding school or something, like, Messi, yeah, what happened? And you start from there. Before you know it, you go into details, you talk, and the child is relaxed. Remember, we're talking about communication and connection. The child becomes relaxed. And you can actually link that communication to the value that you want to pass on. The problem is most of us as parents, we don't have what they call wisdom. The ones that have information don't have wisdom. Wisdom is the right information needed per time. Needed per time. A child comes to tell you something that ideally you wouldn't have said. Maybe he entered into a fight with a friend in school, or he confided in you. Instead of you picking it gradually, before he even could have finished that this was what he had with the person, you're already ranting. Why? Why did you do this? Don't you know the home you're from? You're shooting off the child. So, one of the ways to build trust and open communication is to build trust through open communication. Number 2, listen and understand your child's heart. Number 2, listen and understand your child's heart. Remember, we said something about communication, that even silence is communication. A child is pouring out his heart to you about an activity that happened. Wisdom demands that you try to be observant, watch his moves, so that the point you will be coming from will be to heal whatever the problem is. Not attacking the challenge or attacking the child. It's what the issue is. You will be looking for where to come in. I remember in one of my communities, a parent said the child started saying certain things, and she was like, please, I don't know where to even start from, because this child is saying, as in, we had a tool that will help us bond with our kids. So we gave room for parents to have pillow talk with their kids and not to interrupt. And she said her son started saying things that were off track. And the idea was to be calm. Don't say anything. Wait until he finishes before you speak. And she was like, can somebody help me? Can somebody help me? I just can't be quiet. And we all said, madam, you have to hold your peace. Be calming down. Be calming down. Be calming down. So we have to listen. Do you know that listening is a skill of soul? Most times we are just quick to speak. Before they even finish, we want to lecture. We are good at lecturing. We want to lecture. Especially if you have a teenager, be careful with that your lecture. Because at the end of the day, that lecture will not do you well. Learn to listen and understand the child's heart. Read the emotions. So from there, you can now come in. Oh, I understand. Even when you know it's not okay. I understand. This is how you feel. However, this is what you should have done, or these are the right steps. I think you are thinking, I think you should take. Or if I were in your shoes, this is what I would have done, or I would do. Or in case of next time, this is what. So you are not putting the child in your position. You are actually creating you are actually creating empathy. And you are speaking from the perspective of empathy and fixing yourself into that position. So it's like the attention is actually drifted from the child, even if it's something that is hurting. You listen first, and you remove the attention from the child to the situation and place yourself into the situation. This is what, if I were in these shoes, this is what I would do. Not this is what you would have done. This is, no, it doesn't work that way. So number 2, listen and understand your child's heart. Number 3, speak with kindness and respect. While building bonds. Tomorrow that child will want to come back to you. So the way you handle the situation today will determine if he's coming to you or if he will hold it. Of course, I know they will not tell you everything, but your child should be able to grow to a point where you will be his closest confidence. His closest confidence. Even if there are things that are left out that he wouldn't see, it will not be so much. Even the things that are difficult to speak, he will be able to open up to you. So number 3 is speak with kindness and respect. These children deserve to be respected. Do you know that if you have to say I'm sorry, please say I'm sorry. Don't say no. I'm the mother, I'm the father. I shouldn't say I'm sorry. You are actually teaching the child something. These children deserve to be respected. They deserve to be spoken to as kings because that is who they are. That is who they are. You know, I went to my child's class some time ago and I met a very ugly scenario. The class teacher was actually calling names after she had finished marking the books, the children's notebooks. And at the time she finished marking the children's notebooks, once she calls the child's name, she will throw the note on the floor. And I met it. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? She was like, what's there? What's there? I said, no. How would you feel if me as an adult, I come to you and I want to give you something and I throw it on message. You are sending a wrong message that they are insignificant. I asked her, I said, what stops you from calling a class rep to call the names of the children and give the books to them? If you are too lazy or if you are too tired to stand up, then have a class rep that will take the notes and distribute it. Why call their names and throw it on the floor? Are they animals? Even animals, they don't deserve to be treated that way. She was looking at me. And many of us, this is how we treat our children. So for effective communication, we need to learn to speak kindly. We need to be kind in our speech. You don't have to be rude, arrogant. What's wrong with you? I know it's not your intention. You don't really intend to maybe abuse the child. Yes, me, I know your intentions are not bad. But we need to become intentional with our speech with the children, because it's passing a message to them. So we need to learn to speak with kindness and respect. Number 4, follow through promises. Don't be promise and fail parents. Today you tell them, okay, I will do this, and you refuse to do it, or you don't do it. Maybe you really didn't mean to break your promise, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to meet up. And when the child asks you, the next thing is, you know, yeah, you want to do both face. You know us now. You know, that was how we were raised. I don't believe that's how we were raised. We were raised not to be questioned. We were raised to believe that parents should not be questioned. And you're asking, why did you not do it, mommy, or why was it not possible, simply means that you are rude. So that was the upbringing we had. And that is what a lot of us are translating to our children, which is very wrong. Very, very wrong. So follow through promises. If you are not able to meet a promise, be nice enough to apologize. Don't even allow the child to remind you. Immediately you get home and you remember, oh, I'm sorry, I actually promised to do this for you. This and this happened. I was not able to do. And I know that if it's a toddler, a smaller child, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 7 months, or between 2 to 7, or 8, depending on the relationship, the child will like, okay, when will you buy it? Or when will you do it? Be nice enough and be truthful enough to say, this is my situation. Let them begin to learn these things. Remember, we said there are arrows in the hands of a mighty man. So begin to teach them to understand what you're going through. They understand. They know. Don't say they are children. They will not understand. So no need to explain. No need to explain. Let them forget about it. I couldn't buy it. I couldn't buy it. No. Learn to be able to follow through promises, and if for any reason you fail, be nice enough to apologize and explain why that was not. I hope I get it. I hope you follow. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, send a like the page. Give me a sign that you're following. And the last point tonight before I leave is engage in shared activities. Engage in shared activities. Don't be that parent that they don't eat with you on the table. No, those days are past. This cup is for daddy, and it is only once daddy is eating, nobody eats on the table. Once wash plates. And when you as the person, you are standing in front of the pot, they don't have any room stand by. As you are cooking, let them be bringing the food. Let them bring the vegetable, the stockfish. Times even give them the stockfish. So yeah, why not do it? I remember my 7-year-old daughter. That was how she learned how to fry plantain. I was in the kitchen frying plantain.